Today, we are going to be doing character critiques. This is going to focus specifically on character design. And the way I run this one is a little different because it's design based. It's really hard to directly edit something. So instead of like directly editing, I do my best to recreate what I'm talking about. And I try to get as close to the art style as the original. However, obviously I can't be perfect. I'm not the artist, right? So my version is probably gonna look a little different. But I'm gonna try my best. That way I can, at least try to keep the essence of the original art. So if you submit for this, for your character designs, it's really important that you give me information on your character. So if you do not tell me anything about who this character is, I can't help you, because I need to have an understanding of what we're looking at and who this character is and why they exist, and all those things will help with a design. This is from November. Daydream Eclipse. They are a daughter of the sun and the moon, and they are gods. Okay, so she's like a god kid. There's one thing about like having inspiration, and inspiration is totally good. I love inspiration. I'm inspired by a lot of different art styles and like character design things in my own designs. However, there's a fine line between inspiration and stealing. And I think some of the elements on this design, and it could just be the colors, just feel a little too close to two things that are very obvious to me, and I'm gonna pull up a picture of them. I think we can do some changes to make this feel way more original. Inspiration is totally fine. That's fun. We all like inspiration. And I think it's okay if it looks a little bit like something. However, the collector's colors, I think these are straight up taken. I think honestly, if we just kind of edit these colors, I think you'll have a little bit more of an original character. I believe these are pretty much almost exactly the same. Look, even that already, that's really close. And then the purple is very close to this. Look at that, that's almost the same color. This is the same color palette. Maybe it's darkened or lightened a little bit, but this is the same color palette. Ooh, the shirt and the cloak are the same color. Okay, I might change that. Character color unity is very, very important. You want to make sure that like we can tell the difference between one object and the other. It's always good to separate your colors. If you're going to use a color again, they should be separate from one another so that they aren't touching and blending in together, basically. You don't want them to blend. We can even keep that the shirt color and just darken the rest of it. That's kind of nice already. Thoughts, guys. Should we keep the cloak dark, or because there's nothing in the character design that shows us the sun, should we go for a lighter color for the cloak? What do you guys think? Lighter. Ooh, okay. A lot of lighter. Oh, cooler tone? No, so it's supposed to be half sun, half moon. So I want one side to be warm. You guys like the orange better? Yeah, I think orange might have been better. That's a little better. Okay. I mean, orange and blue are complementary, so it's hard to go wrong. I mean, these are just like subtle color changes. I also now notice that one armband is one color and one is the other. I don't know if that's working. They also are like a color that we haven't seen before. So I think if we're gonna do this armband split, make it the same as the side it's on and make it the exact same color as like the skin. I think that might help it. I really think that the design itself can work if we just remove it from the collector. It's simple. There's nothing wrong with the simplicity of it. We got the change, and here's our original. You don't like the color of the pants? Yeah, I mean, that one was hard to edit. The thing about color edits like this is I can't control them very well. If they want to change it, they can change it. I just think it should be a different color. It was too similar of a gray to the cloak before. Just want to make sure that they're different. All right, let's look at this character. Her name is Layla. A fantasy world where everyone's part animal and can use elemental powers. She's supposed to have Arabic fashion and also D&D. Let's get us some references of actual fashion. I love me some references. And they said we can redesign the weapon. I think because we're going Arabic, there's is it called a scimitar? What's the name of the sword? I feel like if you used this kind of sword, that'd rock. I can kind of see a little bit of it in it. I can't dress myself, but man, do I like to dress characters. There's just so many pretty patterns. There's a lot of pattern, and I think that's something your character's missing. Beautiful, I love references. Welcome to my mood board stream, guys. Today we make mood boards. Will I end up using half of these? No, but whatever. Especially if you're drawing a type of thing that you're not really like familiar with. If you live in that culture, you're obviously gonna be able to do it from your brain. But I don't, so I'm going to have to use some references. Everyone seems to really be into fashion in this chat. I'm glad. That's so fun. I love dressing my characters because I'm not fashionable, so I'm gonna let them do it for me. You know, I can't afford all those pretty clothing, so I'm just gonna draw it instead, because I can't buy it. I want to kind of stick kind of a bit to the original's idea, so we don't go too far away from it. I'm not seeing a lot of collars happening on a lot of this. We could do this. We could do like a little corset thing, kind of like this one a little bit. I think if we want to show the boots, we could do something like this with the dress, with the like front part being higher up than the bottom half. And then like this one has like the collar thing. That seems to be a trend, kind of. Like the wider sleeves instead of like a band. I think instead you could like give her a bracelet maybe instead of having the band. You could have a little bangle on. That kind of also fits the vibe. So instead of doing like the little like ribbon like that they have in like schoolgirl outfits, I'm gonna instead kind of give it a pattern, and then I'm gonna make this the same pattern that the other things are. Pretty good, actually. I kind of like this. They like the dark colors, the character blend together. Yeah, I'm actually gonna grayscale it real quick. I think the dark of the outfit does blend a little bit with the character, doesn't it? I'm gonna just add her skin and her hair, because I think those are okay. I wonder if that purple for the hair could be a little lighter. At least a little more saturated of a purple. It's like almost black. Some people don't like the shade of brown for the skin. Well, let's see what it looks like related to the clothing that we come up with, because I think that'll make or break if the skin tone is working. You know what it is? I think that the purple used on the skin is not a good purple. I'm gonna use the same purple as the hair. I think that purple is a weird saturation. I feel like if we just use the hair color again, it'll look nicer with the skin. Yeah, that's good. Yellow and purple are complementary, so we might end up using a lot of yellow. I wonder if her outfit shouldn't be purple because her body is purple. People were saying blue maybe, like this light blue. We can try the blue. Honestly, blue could work. A little bit more navy, maybe? We could play with the blue. I'm not sold yet. I mean, I like blue, but we can make it a different shade of blue. There's a lot of blues. So many blues. Okay, now the biggest question is what do we want to do with the, like, pattern part? We could stick with the yellows. Definitely want a darker color for those boots. So I guess whatever I choose for the boots could be what we do. Oh, it looks really bad in the middle, though. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little more red side. Oh, that actually looks cool with the yellow in the middle. I kind of like that. Maybe we can use this as a pattern instead. I don't know what pattern I'm going to do, but definitely plan out a pattern. I just kind of scribbled. I don't like the base of the shoes, though. I might darken it. I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll add a purple to it? No, those look terrible. Never mind. Maybe I will just go darker. They're going to be the same. It looks better that way. Ah, that looks nice. Anyone else have any final thoughts? I think this is okay. All right, I think we have a fan favorite. Great, so just use references. That's it. I think that's all we did, is we just looked at so many references. Cool. So this is from Suboptimal J. Okay, this is the end. They're 14. This looks like a grown adult. How is this person 14? They're the longest 14-year-old I've ever seen in my life. Man, they had puberty young, didn't they? Just different proportions will make them look younger. This looks like an adult. Someone said JoJo. Yeah, this is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure 14-year-olds. I teach 14-year-olds. I know that they are tall, and I am 5'3". Many of my students are taller than me, but they look like children. Like, you can still look at that person and be like, yeah, you're a teenager. Like, there's a look. Like, this drawing, even the facial structure, just doesn't look teenager. Which, we're not talking about that here. Sure, they might grow tall. That's totally normal. But when you're drawing your character, you have to make sure that the way you are drawing them comes off as that age. So you can have a tall 14-year-old, but their facial structure and, like, you know, also what you dress them in is also gonna change how old they look, right? So, like, their outfit will tell you a lot about their age as well. Jan is 14 and non-binary. They're a fairy with powers over earth and plants. Aren't aware of this? Okay. Fairies are hunted down. Okay, so Jan has to hide. Okay. So I don't see fairy in this design. They kind of just look like a person, which is cool if they're trying to blend in. But I wonder if in your world, this is something for you to think about personally. Actually, great reference. I have a character who is in hiding. They're not human. They're an elf. And they're in hiding from elf kind. And they're hiding with humans. And humans hate elves in this world. So in order to hide, like, there's not much physically different that you, like, if you just looked at her, you wouldn't be able to tell right away that she's an elf. But there are small design choices that I've made between the elves and the humans. Once you start picking up on these design choices, it becomes obvious when a character is an elf versus a human. And for me, a couple of things are color palettes. So in my world, humans have desaturated colors. They're very dark and grim looking. Skin tones are a lot darker colors. And then for the elves, they are bright. Their hair is bright, even unnatural colors, a lot of elves. Like I have an elf with like white hair, right? Like unnatural human colors, bright colors, those are elves. And they can still, like the girl has blonde hair, which is, humans can have blonde hair, but her shade of blonde is like bright and saturated. Whereas a human who is blonde would be a lot more muted and desaturated of a color. And another differentiator is height. Elves are naturally taller than humans are, so she could get away with just being a tall human, but for elf kind, she might just be average, right? So you can have your character be tall and that be part of it, but what are the other parts of your character that could subtly, like it doesn't have to be obvious, and I don't think I can answer this for you right now on stream. This is something for you to personally think about, your design choices in your world. How are your fairies visually different from humans? What is the fairies' look that makes them visually separate from humans? It could be very subtle, but there should be something that differentiates them. And I guess this goes to anyone else. Even if the like races in your world are similar, there should be small visual differences that really help. Really good example of visual differences are all the characters from Lord of the Rings. They all look human, but different proportions. Dwarves are very different than, even elves and humans look very similar in Lord of the Rings, but there are some visual differences that you can kind of make out. Even how they dress, their fashion styles are different between the different races. So that's also something to think about. With that in mind, let's talk about the actual character. Honestly, I'm going to tell you this. Your character is way too fashionable for someone who is like hiding on the run. One, you do not want them to stand out. They should be wearing the blandest of clothings imaginable so that they can kind of blend in with the crowd, right? Two, high heels. That character is not running very far, right? So we want this character to kind of blend into society. How can we blend them in? And you can even put little markings, like maybe there's like, I don't know, even tattoos. Maybe like fairies are born with a tattoo somewhere that is part of their powers or indicates that they're a fairy. Just a birthmark could be it. Something that really shows that this is a fairy, not a human. So yeah, suboptimal, that makes sense. Good. Was that helpful for anyone else in chat who has something like that in their story? Definitely for you to think about as well. You know, this could go for everyone. Honestly, I don't know if I can say much about the colors. I think the colors are totally fine because, again, I think this is something you got to think about. I can't really give you the answer. What are the fairy and human differences, and how can you show that visually in the colors? And I think if you can figure that out, you'll be able to think of colors. I don't know if there's much advice I could give on colors right now because they're working. I think your color palette's totally fine. However, what about them is fairy? Putting them in clothing that matches what they are doing in their plot. What's their goal? What are they doing a lot of? If your story takes place on a beach, you're not going to be dressed in a giant winter coat, right? It's the same thing. If you're going to be moving and traveling a lot, you want to be on more comfortable clothing in your character versus a little more high fashion, right? We don't need that. Okay, we got a D&D character. Dope. Okay. A steampunk character. Cool. They're 13. They have a curse, so we can see their bones. Okay, well, I'll say this. You did a really good job drawing those bones. And they have a pet mouse. Cute. I think we can go more into steampunk. What are the name of the boys in Oliver? The, like, group? Because that's, like, the outfit I feel like we're going for. Does anybody understand what I'm talking about? Consider yourself. Whatever. I don't know the lyrics. I just know the tune. Please tell me you guys have listened to a musical before. Please tell me. Oliver's a classic. Please, sir, may I have some more? And then the orphanage kicks him out because he asked for seconds. Okay, so I really think we should go for more of the, like, Oliver Twist vibe. I think that's really gonna fit. I don't think there's a lot of, like, fur, really, because that feels like the wrong time period. So we could do a scarf. I think there's a lot of scarves. All right, and then we got this jacket. And then we could probably show the bone here. And then I think instead of having a crop top shirt, we can give them a shirt. Because I think if we show the arms, we can kind of have that be the bone part instead. I don't know if we should do the shorts. Definitely makes them look young, so maybe we keep the shorts. I don't know, something about a young child with the, like, big shorts. It makes sense to me. More metal or bronze? Yeah, okay. I think there's just a little bit too similar of some colors going on. Definitely the neutral colors work perfect for steampunk. but some of them are a little too similar. I think the skin color is a little too similar to some of the other colors, which is gonna be probably a problem. But yeah, we can probably help it out a little bit. You know what? I have a different idea for that. Because we're kind of seeing inside of the body, so I have a thought. I think that hair color should be lighter. It's a little too close to the body. Let me play with it for a second. Yeah, they're like almost the same. It's very desaturated, but I think that's kind of the vibe. Might have to go darker. I want to stick with the neutrals because we are going steampunk. Okay, I think this is good. You guys were right. It has a nice like aesthetic going on, but a couple tweaks in the brightness and darkness of some of them kind of brings it all a little together better. A moth and kind of like the Bendy Games. Okay, she's an imaginary friend. Cool, works at a circus. And they're abandoned, now they roam. Okay, so she's like one of those classic horror game enemy protag things. Cool, let's find us some references of a couple things that we can use. I hate this game, but whatever. The designs are fine. Was there a specific type of moth you were looking for when you looked at her for the colors of this? Luna moth. I'm just gonna say the answer is a Luna moth because literally looks like that color palette. Okay. There's definitely an art style that you're attempting to mimic, and I don't think it was successful. So I think there's a couple things we can definitely do to help out. So, oh wait, she's an imaginary friend brought to life, which means there's an obvious show we should reference, Foster's. That's literally what the whole show is about. So, probably you can tell, like, imaginary friends, why does it have to be a human, right? Why don't you just go really into the whole moth vibe? And also make it look creepier if you really push moth, right? I'm also thinking, like, how Mommy Longlegs looks over here. She kind of has human parts, right? But everything else about her is just, like, weirdly proportioned to make her look like a toy. So we want to make sure that your character looks like a weird imaginary creature. And you know, when the child imagines an imaginary friend, a child isn't gonna get like the perfect human proportions, you know? So it's okay for it to be wonky because we're trying to think like a child thinks. Children don't understand anatomy. And like clothing, do we have to dress them, right? Why do they have to wear normal human clothing? Really, if you're going for something that isn't stuck in reality, why are you sticking in reality? Do you have an answer? If you don't have an answer, then let's push it, right? If there is no reason for it to look like a human, why should it look like a human? I'm gonna give them like a body of the moth, and I'm gonna turn that wing into the legs. How will it stand? Why does it have to stand? Does it need to stand? It has wings. Can't it fly? Or maybe it just magically floats. It's imaginary, right? Does it need to be standing? It's not a real thing, right? You don't have to confine yourself to realism if we're going for a creature created by a child's imagination. So yeah, this is called Rubber Hose. It has to do with the way that they were animated. So think about Betty Boop, Popeye, that era of animation. To mimic that art style, even Cuphead is actually a really good reference to get. I should have gotten that. But their eyes are drawn a very specific way in the Rubber Hose era, as well as their facial proportion. Kind of getting that same vibe as the Rubber Hose look. Maybe this is imagined by a child who watched all those cartoons as a kid, so the art style matches the cartoons that they grew up with. So if this is a kid who grew up on Rubber Hose, and again, it's abandoned, so it makes sense. Maybe it's a kid from the 60s or like whatever, right? That watched all those old cartoons and imagined a creature in that art style. That makes sense. So let's go for it. And Rubber Hose means rubber limbs. There is no such thing as an elbow in Rubber Hose. Everybody bends like a hose. It's really important to learn the history of art. That kind of stuff is very important. Especially when you want to mimic a certain style, it's important to understand why that style is what it looks like. Animation history is not very long. It's a newer art form, so there isn't much history to it. Just like you painting, like there's different periods of art. Cubism, Impressionism, Realism, right? Those are all types of art. Those are all styles of art. Listen, as an artist, I know we don't like to talk about it, but it's super important to have a grasp on art history. It's important to know where you came from. I mean, think about it. Like if you're gonna go into law, it's important to understand the history of law. The same applies to art. It's very important to understand art history in order to understand what's good about it, what's bad about it, what people did in the past, what we do today, to understand how we've evolved. And those are all very important skills to have and knowledge to have. Anybody here ends up doing art school for college, art history is an extremely large requirement. Like most of what you will be doing is art history. So yeah, it's important to know, like these things don't just appear out of nowhere, right? I don't know, this thing is already kind of terrifying, not gonna lie. If it came at me in a dark alley, I would scream. Okay, so I don't want to do clothes, so we're gonna go furry because the moth is furry. What if their eyes, like the little thing, these little like things, what if they're an extra pair of eyes, but like realistic eyes? I think the ripped wings are cool. We can add a couple of those. I think maybe we can do just like a shirt. Look at the way the pants look here. Like they're like tubes. This is unsettling already. All right, I think I'm gonna do a quick line and we'll do some colors. I don't know if that skin color looks nice. Where's that moth picture? I'm gonna basically steal colors from that moth. It's more of a white color, right? We got this really saturated red. There's no red in the design. I feel like that saturated red is gorgeous. Yeah, that hair is also gonna be this bright green, right? There's a gradient mark. I would rather not add a gradient because we're going for spooky. So I think the gradient's going to liven it up a little too much. They are very black and white, these designs, usually. So even having any color is always a little much. Like even Mickey, he just has his pants as the color. So that's a thought, to go full black and white. But I think having a glow is cool. Actually, you're wrong. Cuphead does not have a lot of colors. See? Is that a lot of colors to you? Still black and white, baby. Still follows the same vibe, and they just got the one color that stands out. There's a reason it works. Like, that's why they're like that. This is also an imaginary character, like from a kid's imagination. So I think having bright colors is kind of okay. I think a bright yellow for the eyes is cool. It is cool. Maybe we just do the black. I'm honestly considering going a very more black and white. Maybe we should dim it down so there's only a little bit of neon. What do you guys think? It might be cooler if there's just one moment of neon that's like, whoa, that's glowing. But I don't know. I mean, again, it is a color palette made by a child. Children will probably go for brighter colors. Okay, thoughts, chat? Yeah, I think muted looks better. Well, I'll leave it up to you, artist. You will make the final decision. It's your drawing. Do you prefer it to be bright or not? Which one do you like? Non-neon, all right, there you go. Well, we'll leave it there. So I guess it's just don't be afraid to like really go for crazy. You know, you're making something imaginary. Let's go nutty with it. That was the last one for today. That was great. We did good. We did so many. You guys are welcome to submit at any time on either channels. That's it. Bye, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.